A young man lived with his father and mother. One day, the old man said to his son, "You are our only child. You must marry and have children." So, the old man found a wife for his son. She was a fine young woman, and her husband loved her dearly. A year passed, and she gave birth to a little boy. The family lived happily together, but they were very poor. The young man and his father worked hard in the fields, while the young woman and her mother-in-law worked hard in the house. Despite their efforts, they never had enough food to eat. One day, the young man said to his father, "This little farm is too small for our family. Let me go and find work in the town. I will earn some money and bring it home to you." The father was saddened. "You are my only child," he said, "and we need you here at home. But you are right, the farm is too small for us all. Go to the town, find work, and earn some money. We will wait for you here." The young man kissed his son and said goodbye to his parents and wife, then began the long journey to the town. After 2 days of traveling, he reached the town and knocked on the door of the first big house. A man opened it. "Is there work for me here?" the young man asked. "No, my friend," the man replied. The young man walked on, knocking on many doors and asking the same question, but the answer was always the same: "No, there is no work for you here." Tired and hungry, he thought, "What can I do? I must find work soon, or I will die." At last, he arrived at a monastery and knocked on the door. An old monk opened it. "Please, father," the young man said, "let me work for you." The monk asked, "How long will you stay?" "Only a few months," the young man replied. "Then I must return to my family." The monk began to shut the door. "Then I cannot help you," he said. "If you work for us, you must promise to stay for a long time." The young man was desperate. "If I don't find work today, I'll die of hunger," he thought. "Please, father, don't close the door. I promise to work for you for a long time." The monk smiled. "Come in, my son," he said. The next day, the young man began his work. It was not difficult, and the monks were kind to him. He worked hard, and they were pleased. A month passed. At first, he thought about his family every day. "Is my son well? Are my parents happy? Does my wife have enough to eat?" But slowly, he forgot them. He was content at the monastery. "You are an honest man," the monks said. "You will look after our money for us." Years passed quickly. One day, the young man was counting the monks' money when he heard children laughing outside. He looked up. "They are happy," he thought. "Is my son happy?" He stood and looked out of the window. "How old is my son now? How long have I been here? 5 years? 6? No, 10 years. I have been here for 10 years. The next morning, he went to the monks. "I have served you for 10 years, he said. "I have worked hard, but you have never paid me. Now, I wish to see my family. Please give me the money you owe me and let me go." The monks smiled. "You are right," they said. "You have worked hard. Now, you can choose, do you want your money, or do you want our blessing?" The young man frowned. "I want your blessing," he said, "but I also want my money." The monks nodded. "We owe you 400 silver dollars, but each blessing costs $100. The young man hesitated but then said, "Give me your blessing. It is more valuable than money." The first monk blessed him, "Do not leave the road. Do not go to the right or the left. Always go straight ahead." The second monk blessed him, "Soon, you will be a guest. Obey your host. Accept what he gives you." The third monk blessed him, "Do not be angry. Always think before you act." Then, they gave him 100 silver dollars, and he left. Soon, he met 2 men walking along the road. "Walk with us," they said. Our journey will be more interesting together." The young man agreed, and they walked on. They reached a crossroads. "Follow me," one of the men said. "I know a better way." He turned left, and the other man followed. But the young man remembered the first blessing. "Do not turn left or right," the monk had said. "Go straight on." "I'm sorry," he said. "I must go straight ahead." He waved goodbye and continued alone. He crossed a river and climbed a hill when he suddenly heard shouts. Looking back, he saw the two men being attacked by robbers. They cried for help, but there were too many robbers. "If I go back, they will kill me," he thought. "The monk's blessing saved my life." He walked on, but he was now hungry, thirsty, and exhausted. Darkness fell. "I must find a place to sleep," he thought. The wild landscape frightened him. He quickened his pace. At last, he saw a light on a hill. He ran to the house and knocked. An old man with white hair and fine clothes opened the door. "Welcome," he said. "Come in." The old man brought water. "Let me wash your feet," he said. The young man hesitated. "I cannot let this noble old man wash my feet." But then he remembered the second blessing, "Obey your host. Accept what he gives you." He sat down, and the old man washed his feet. Then, a blind girl entered, carrying a dish of food. "Feed our guest," the old man said. She hesitated, but he pushed her forward. She fed the young man, and he ate well. The next morning, he thanked his host. But now, in the daylight, the old man's fine clothes seemed tattered, his teeth long and sharp, his eyes small and cruel. "Is he a man or an ogre?" The young man wondered. "You are lucky," the old man said. "You accepted my hospitality. Others did not. I killed them." He pointed at the ground. "Their bodies are beneath your feet." The young man trembled. "And the girl?" he asked. "Why did you spare her?" The old man laughed. "I took her eyes. Now, she is my servant." The young man was horrified. "I must escape." "Thank you. Goodbye," he said, walking away quickly. But the old man called him back. "Wait. I have something for you." He returned with a heavy sack. "Take it." The young man ran down the road and later opened it under a tree. "Silver dollars." He gasped. "The monk's second blessing has made me rich." Eager to see his family, he hurried home. Near his village, he saw a church where a crowd had gathered. An old man and a boy were struggling. "What a wicked boy," he thought, showing no respect to his elder. He wanted to stop him but remembered the third blessing, "Do not be angry. Think before you act." He asked a woman, "Who are they?" She sighed. "The old man's son left 10 years ago. He was heartbroken and wants to end his life. His grandson is trying to stop him." Tears filled the young man's eyes. "Oh, my father! My child!" He rushed forward, embraced his son, and helped his father to stand. "Father, I have returned. I will never leave again." At home, his mother and wife wept. "You have returned only to die," they said. "We ate our last meal yesterday." Smiling, the young man opened his sack, revealing the silver dollars. Then, he added the $100 the monks had given him. "I have not come home to die, but to live," he said. "The monks have blessed me, and now we will be happy for the rest of our lives."